About success, and I believe success is only achieved through consistency and persistent effort. And if you have perceived success without some consistent action or persistent action, it's not success. It's more luck, right place, right time, and that's something that we can't count on. So what I find with myself as it relates to consistency is the action itself is a lot less important over the long run um, than taking that consistent approach to something that you want to create in your life, whether it's a new body or a new relationship, a new vocation, or getting better at your profession. What matters is how you show up and the consistent nature in how you do so. And for me, the example that I use for myself when I try to apply this to other areas of my life where I'm stuck or I'm blocked is when I think about my own journey of health and fitness. And, you know, it was back when I was like 17 or 18. I just made a decision. I said to myself, you know, I'm going to consistently exercise 4 or 5 days a week. And I'm just going to do that for the rest of my life. And it wasn't the exact exercises that I was doing at the gym or, you know, the different runs or, you know, rollerblades that I was going on. It was the fact that I was taking this consistent methodical approach to just putting in the reps, right? Like that's a phrase that they use at the gym. You know, you want to get your reps in, but you can apply that to life overall. And I find where people get stuck, and you know, I hear this even with people who want to get into health and fitness, they don't know where to start. And you know, I just sort of want to scream. It's like it doesn't matter what you do, just go to the gym and, you know, pick something up and put it down and you'll figure it out. Because it's that process of learning wherein you start to try different approaches and you find what works and what doesn't. You find what fits your style and what doesn't. And it's not about picking the right thing all the time. It's about just doing something consistently and listening to yourself and having the wherewithal and understanding to have reflection on what is working and what's not. Because, you know, if you do something consistently for 6 months, like, you're going to grow exponentially versus if you know, stop and start for 6 months trying to do the perfect thing all the time. You know, you're going to get 20% of the reps and you're not going to get nearly as far because you're not actually learning. You're just saying, well, that wasn't perfect and this wasn't perfect and this wasn't perfect. And so this is something that I'm really trying to consume in my own life as I look at bettering different parts of me and looking into my own blind spots about where do I, you know, stutter and where do I stop because I don't know how to start with perfection. Because it's not about starting with perfection. Success in anything is going to be coming from those consistent reps that we're taking in our life, day in, day out. And you know, there's all of these supporting aspects of the process which are going to help facilitate, you know, that movement into momentum in the areas that we want to grow in our life. And you know, I think one of the big things is around presence and intentionality. So, you know, just being aware of at all times what it is you want to achieve or what it is you want to create, and then just setting small intentions with yourself that you can sort of, you know, hit on a daily basis. You know, one of the things that I'm going through right now is trying to get my sleep back on track. And for a long time, I was in a really good sleep cadence and I was going to bed and waking up at the same time. But now I find it's really fluctuating for a number of different reasons. And I found it's gotten easier if I just, you know, wake up with intention and say, okay, like today I want to, you know, have my phone down at 9:30 and lights off by 10:15. Just that simple thought in the morning helps me to facilitate the rest of my day so that I'm set up for success later on. And it's over time with that intentionality and those steps that you want to take, it's going to allow me to achieve, whatever it is I want. This particularly related to my sleep schedule. But you can apply that with anything in your life. Like whenever we get stopped and just like blasted with a perceived failure, we have to look at what is the positive, what is the opportunity here, because the opportunity in life always is what we can learn from the actions that we've taken, right? There's the initial opportunity to get going, but then there's the continued gifts that taking consistent action give us on a daily basis, or however long that cadence is that you're putting in those reps. So if we can reframe success as the consistent learning from our actions, like the destination becomes irrelevant, because you start having fun along the way, you start gaining momentum, and then you realize that feeling that you want to attain at the end of that journey is available to you tomorrow if you take the actions and you start to learn, because you're going to see how quickly you progress and how quickly you can move through perceived challenges that may or may never show up. So I guess just in ending, consistency is the foundation of success in any area of your life: health, wealth, relationships, skill building. You just have to be consistent. And getting started is always the hardest part. It's always the hardest part. It's not mastery. Mastery is not the hardest part of anything. That's when you get into the flow and the ease of something. The hardest part of anything you are ever going to do that you want to achieve in your life is getting started, and just being okay with not being perfect, and be okay with fumbling, and be okay with that stutter step. But as long as we're learning, we will be successful.